What it is, what is up, what is good, gamers? This is Shonuff71, aka Digadulamite,
That purple bling bling, y'all.
and your auditory canals are tuned into episode 261 of the Gaming Vessels podcast. And as usual, I am not in the digital studio alone. Along with me, I got my partners in crime. First on deck, we got Dez, aka the Bay Area Terror, aka the High Res Hater,
That's me.
aka the Cat Daddy, aka that gamer stepdaddy. What's going on, man?
Hey, not much. Just here recording this fantastic show with all of you fine people. Thank you for tuning in and showing up and listening to these three guys talk about their passion, which is gaming. A little bit under the weather. Unfortunately, I got a upper respiratory infection, so it's knocked your boy out, but he's not down for the count. Feeling a lot better. So if you hear me coughing, it's because of that. But other than that, been doing pretty good.
Okay, well, like a leftover from the TGS, maybe, or
Oh, no. I think I had this before I left. It's just I was taking medications and stuff for it. And so it's just when I talked to the doctor, she was saying that there's just a pretty bad, bug going around. And because I had stayed on top of it, I guess it didn't progress into anything else. So she basically just said, take the medication. If it gets worse, let us know. But it's been lingering for about 2 to 3 weeks before they really kind of like shake it. But I'm working on my third week now. So, and again, I take all the stuff that can stop me from coughing, and I got a nasal, doing the rinse for my sinuses. She gave me a nasal steroid, so that's helping everything out. So definitely feeling a lot better, because I was just like, whew, for a minute there I was out of it. But definitely feeling a lot better. A lot better.
Good. And of course, our show is a no-go without Trader Joe, aka Jabroni Chief.
Yeah. That's what I usually say here. Yeah. So,
But you might also know him as the Food Max of gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. How's you doing?
everything's good. Just like Des, I had to go to the doctor after I got back from Tokyo, but basically I just went to go get some labs done. I had just on the docket, and I think all this gluttony in Japan caused some readings to go out of whack. So I'm getting retested in about 3 months, give or take.
Yeah.
So.
He just couldn't say no. He just couldn't say no to them convenies.
Nah, yeah, two at least big jumbo waffle ice cream treats a night, and grabbing 17 ice anywhere I saw one.
Yep. Every time I looked over at him, he had ice cream in his hand. So
you got it. You got it. So. And lo and behold, you get off the plane, 2 days later, go for labs, and guess what? You're pre-diabetic.
Yeah.
No, I just have 10 million ice cream cones distilled in my veins right now. So.
Yeah. I just hope that's all it is.
Gotta rinse it out.
Rinse it out. Yeah, rinse it out of the blood. Yeah. So we'll see. I let the doctor know, and she said, yes, we'll retest in 3 months. And it's like, okay.
That's good.
Sorry for being bad. But,
eat a lot of kale, drink a lot of water. That should get your readings back in line.
Yeah.
At least that's what works for me.
I wasn't taking my supplements either. I was skipping my supplements for a few weeks, and then obviously I didn't bring any vitamins or anything with me to Japan. So
he went full rogue.
He went full ham.
Yeah. You got to realize, it's like, I hate to look at my damn cabinet of vitamins and supplements and medicines and stuff. I'm reminded that I got the mature vitamin because of my age, and so every time I see that, I just like just like when you get the AARP,
just gotta accept it and keep it pushing.
So yeah,
Flintstones vitamins can't cut it anymore.
No, Like I said, accept it and keep it pushing, sir.
Yeah. Lo and behold, I'm gonna blink and I'm gonna be sitting here with my life alert on my damn wrist. I'm falling, I can't get up. And
I was wishing for a game. Help me.
All my Efferdent and Free Dent.
Oh man.
Yeah. Hopefully I don't have dentures. So.
Yeah.
Well, take care of them tooths. They'll take
who knows?
care of
Maybe
you.
Nintendo will release a denture, like apparatus or something for their aging. Yeah.
So how you been, Kev?
The switcher dent. Okay.
No. How have you been, Kev?
I've been okay. Just got back from celebrating my anniversary, so I went
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
Anniversary.
Yeah. They went up to Monterey and Carmel and hung out there for a few days and ate a bunch. Similar to you, ate a bunch of stuff I had no business eating. Primarily fried fish and clam chowder. And it was pretty good. The only thing, I guess my only complaint is this resort that we ended, because we stayed at two different places. The last place we stayed was this resort. The accommodations were great. We were right on the beach. Like literally you just opened the back room, the back door, and you were literally on the beach, like, sand in your feet. The only problem with that place is that we decided to do room service and the food was not good. I'm not going to say terrible because there is like this, dang near Michelin, supposedly, because we never went there. There is this near Michelin star rated restaurant on the property. And supposedly the same people that work the restaurant handle the in-room dining. But man, it's like I got we both got hamburgers and both of our hamburgers were inedible because they were so salty. Oh. Fries were inedible due to the salt content. So we had to send both of those back. And my wife lost her appetite because the salt level was just so bad. But I went on ahead and reordered a risotto that was a knockout. So they did get that one right. It was a risotto in a roasted pumpkin, and it was delicious. It had scallops and clams in it with the risotto. Just really good. But yeah, we had a fun time just hanging out, just doing a lot of vegetating because we are both mentally and physically exhausted from our jobs. So this was a good getaway. That's good.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. So with that said, we're going to move on to what is always our first topic on the docket, and that's going to be the playlist. So let's kick things off with the high-res hater. What you been playing, Des? What's been on your menu?
What's been on my menu? Only one thing, and I've been trying to really focus my attention on Sea of Stars. I'm in the home stretch. I want to beat it. I want to get it done. So that's where my focus has been, and it just seems like I'm almost 30 hours into it, and they're still introducing new people, and I'm like, yeesh. So I know that I'm getting close to the end. So I'm just sticking with it. Like I put too many hours in this not to beat it. And then the secondary, it's funny because the secondary, the second game or the new game plus is not so much a new game plus, is that you're supposed to go around and you're supposed to fix some other things because you get the ability to like go back in time and some stuff, and so you can go through and change some things to get a better outcome. So there is no bad outcome. There is no bad ending, but you can get an even better ending if you continue on and do this extra stuff they want you to do in the new game plus. So I'm trying to decide if I want to do that. It's supposed to be a lot more streamlined. And you get a couple of extra battles with it. So it's not so much that you're having to open up and do new stuff. It's just kind of going through and redoing a couple things differently. And it changes the story. So it changes the story somewhat dynamically, so you can actually see what the changes are compared to the first time. So that's kind of cool. I think that's a really, interesting way to do it. So I've been invested in these characters for quite a while, so I think that I'm going to end up doing that. But I probably got another about 10 hours, I would think. Maybe a little less. But I will be finishing it. I will be completing it, and that is where my focal point has been. After that, I really want to start getting into some new games, and I really want to start doing some multiplayer games again, because I got to get back into that before Monster Hunter Wild comes out. Because once that comes out, that's just it. That's just the game I'm going to be playing, most likely with y'all. So, but that's the game, So I'm thinking about picking up Metaphor and playing that. I'm not sure. I still have to play Spider-Man. There's just a lot of games in my backlog that I really want to play. And as you can see, that backlog blowout just didn't really have the intended effect that we wanted it to. But it's the first time. Maybe next year, maybe 2025's edition will be better. One other thing that I did is when I was in Japan, I was buying games, right? What you do, you buy your games. But I was looking at Joe, and I couldn't remember if I had bought something or not. And so Paul and I actually started a spreadsheet, and we started to catalog my Switch games. So I'm up to about 60 something, and I'm about halfway through right now. And I've already found one double that I had. It was Azure Striker Gunvolt 3 collector's edition. I have the Japanese version. I have the American version. So if anyone's looking for it, let me know. I'll probably sell it to you. But that's been really kind of fun. I'm going to do the same thing with my Nintendo games. Sorry, with my PS4 games, my PS5 games, to have them down and ready to go. So, and I think it'd be kind of cool. So, but that's really kind of all that I've been up to. So.
All right, Jabroni Chief, you're up next. What you been playing, man?
As far as I'm just getting back into the fold a little bit. When I got back, I basically was like doing a lot of Steam Deck. So I was playing a lot of Steam Deck in bed, actually. So I got so used to, when me and Des were like, hanging out, and basically after we got done with the day, just like laying in bed and just like gaming and or playing, looking at our phone or whatever, that I got used to just being in bed. So I was playing a lot of Steam Deck in bed. I was playing Legends of Heroes Trails from in the Sky, basically. So that classic JRPG from Falcom basically has been just kind of scratching that itch for me at least a bit. It's kind of giving me some like, old school Lunar / Grandia vibes, at least in the gameplay and how the story is evolving. And, I've picked up and played this game a couple of times previously, but I've always dropped off. And so this time I went ahead and, like I described, in a prior podcast, I installed a mod for this particular game to give it full voices. It was like they had a Vita version of this game, and they basically ripped all the voices out of the Japanese Vita version and basically had them be able to plug into the Steam version of the game. So it kind of pops a little bit better, even though all the voices are in Japanese, that everything is fully voiced. And so I kind of appreciate that as well on there. So, but really continuing to play that game and use the Steam Deck. And so it's kind of opening my eyes a little bit for some use of the Steam Deck on there. So I will keep plugging away at it. I haven't played it actually since last weekend. So, but what I have been playing for almost the entire week is just like Des and his kind of jump back into Sea of Stars. I have jumped back into Secret of Mana quite a bit. So it made me realize that, for one, I was like saying to myself right before the backlog blowout ended, like, oh, I just need one more day to beat this game. No, I did not need one more day. I needed one more week at least. So
yeah.
I kind of got to a kind of a couple of FAQs and I'm looking at it and I started like kind of looking at possibly min-maxing and or getting all the trophies in the game, but I'm trying to think, man, maybe I shouldn't do that. There's so many other games to play on there, so I don't know if doing unnecessary grinding to level up everything to max would be probably the best thing for me to do. But it's something where I've actually got back into that game and I've been enjoying it every night. So, just like you stated, Des, I have not been playing any sort of multiplayer games. That usually has been my bread and butter on there. I know I want to dip back into the Airship Syndicate game, which is what I forgot the name of it off the top of my head.
Wayfinders.
Wayfinder. Yeah, so I want to definitely play that, and I was kind of excited, and I did wind up picking it up, but I haven't played it since I bought it last weekend. But the new Sword Art Online game, Fractured Daydream, has a lot of Phantasy Star Online vibes to it. It's basically the whole campaign is being able to play multiplayer, and then
It
there's
is not though.
20 isn't there a 20 player or 21 player raid?
No. It's there, but from
Yeah.
what I understand, you have to beat the main campaign to get into multiplayer.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah,
I thought
that's the
maybe
one.
you'd be able to dip back and forth. So
No, I was watching the uh Noisy Pixel, and they were saying like it's a fun game, but yeah, and it's multiplayer, but you gotta kind of go through and unlock all of the characters for the story. I could be wrong, but what I remember watching was you got to beat everything for it, unfortunately. But hey, that might be pretty good. The game is supposed to be really fun.
yeah, so I'm definitely going to be firing that up in the next week on there and giving that a go, and we'll kind of have an answer to that if we could dip into multiplayer right away, or do we need to go ahead. I think we should be able to play co-op at least. So, but
Yeah.
I'll have to verify that for my own self. Were you thinking about buying this game, Des? I wasn't sure if after all the coverage and my excitement for it.
I definitely thought about it, and I went through and watched a large what was it? I watched a large lore dump about the game, about the series, and what's going on in the game, and how this is a wholly original version of the game. So it's like it's sort of like a giant mashup of all the different characters from all the different anime lines coming together into one new story. So supposedly it is a new story, and it explains why they're all together, because it takes from four, I think it's either three or four different Sword Art Online properties.
Yeah,
So
and plus I know the game series has its own like
yeah.
continuity on there, so
Yeah.
it has its own like storylines and whatnot
Mhm.
that are not part of the anime. So
Exactly. So this is supposed to be its own thing, and I'm thinking that's kind of cool. Um, but yeah, it's supposed to be really fun.
yeah, so I'm gonna give that fire that up and take a look at that. I'm gonna kind of compare it to Grand Blue Fantasy Relink too, because that's a game I haven't really dived into and I've been meaning to dive into. So I mean, I got a lot of different options to do, but I do want to pick on a couple of, like you stated, there's a couple of more multiplayer focused games before Monster Hunter comes out at the beginning of next year. So
Yeah. And then you
I'll
get
go.
Metaphor too. Did you want?
Yeah, I bought my Metaphor Refantasio. Yeah, so I picked it up. I wanted to get the steelbook, so I ended up buying the Super the Greatest edition. So I
Yeah.
figured what was in there. It's new acrylic stands, I think. So
It looked
on
cool.
there,
Like it looked dope.
there art book and a steelbook, and I love the Atlas is going straight out with the whole. I think the GUI, the menu options and whatnot. I definitely love the look of it, and I want to support them doing new original IP. I don't want Persona 5, Electric Boogaloo or whatnot. I love Persona, but they should count the 6, just like I think Kev, you said about another game counting the 3, good old Destiny. So I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
Atlas should start because I know they also at the TGS that they had another like announcement for another Persona 5 property of some sort, and I had no idea what they even announced. It's like it's so oblivious now as far as all the um, you know additions and or revisions of Persona 5 and whatnot. One of
They
my
all kind of start
regrets
meshing
too
together.
is yeah. One of my regrets too is I kind of ignored Sword Art Online while we're at TGS. I definitely would have liked to have played it in the raid mode because they had that set up at the Bandai Namco booth
Yeah, that would
on
have
the
been cool.
floor. But we'll have to make amends if need be. But that's been my last week as far as games are concerned. Kev, what you been up to, man?
So I've been playing a little bit of Helldivers 2. The homie Damon picked it up, I guess, a few days ago. So I've been jumping in and helping him level up.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, the game is still a blast. He's kind of coming in right with where the fun level of this game is at its peak because he missed all the nerfs and all the other crap that happened with this game that kind of sapped some of the fun out of it. So it's all been gravy for him. So I've just been helping him build his medals up, build out his war bond acquirements, and we're fighting bugs for the most part until he can get the proper weaponry to go up against the bots. So just having a lot of fun with that game. Space Marine 2, I've jumped a little bit further into that game. Um, okay, I'm not going to say Space Marine 2 isn't great. It's a fantastic action game, but where there is something clunky about the counter mechanics in it. Whereas in the first game, and it's been so long since I played the first game, I honestly can't remember if there was a counter mechanic in it. I don't think there was, but in this game, playing it on Veteran, which is how I intended to play it, because that's how I played the first Space Marine on Veteran on PS3 and again on PC. The counters are very wonky. You will get perfect counter on enemies coming in, closing in on you 1 second, and then get waylaid the next. And th- there's just something very off about it. And playing on Veteran, if you don't get those counters right, your health bar is just gonna go down, 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 down.
Mm.
So I wound up lowering the difficulty level to normal, and it's better, but now I feel overpowered. So I'm going through and fighting all these enemies and hacking and slashing everybody to death. And now the game feels too easy. Again, it's a great game. I think it's definitely, even if you don't know anything about the 40K universe, which I do not, the main thing is that you're just giant dudes who are killing a whole bunch of bugs that are somewhat sentient because they can pick up guns and they've got guns and use swords, and it's actually kind of horrifying when you stop and think about it. What are they called? Tyranids. What those things can do to a planet, but fun game, enjoying it. Also, completely forgot that this game was coming out. I just happened to be at Walmart getting a couple of errands done. I went by and checked the gaming section, and they had Sparking Zero in the case. It was the last one in the case, so I snagged it. I called a couple of places, like Best Buy was sold out, GameStop was sold out. So I was able to land Sparking Zero. I've only uploaded it, so I haven't really got a chance to play it yet. But that will be rectified probably sometime this evening. Very much looking forward to getting into that game. Been hearing a lot of positive things about it. One thing that is a little bit, I kind of sort of knew it was going to be this, but it's an arena fighter, or anime arena fighter rather. But from what I'm hearing, it's like the first Ninja Storm game, which were like fantastic. I mean, the mechanics were still super simple. Uh, I mean, they kind of set the bar for it, but now you've got Dragon Ball characters, so you're flying, charging up, doing blasts. But I keep hearing it's been done exceptionally well. So I'm hoping that is also my finding when I finally jump into this game. Before you guys, and I can't remember if I mentioned this on the show, before you guys went to TGS, Jabroni and I can't remember if we mentioned this in a prior episode, but we saw the Transformers movie. Very good, was right. I'll just say that. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would, because I was honestly expecting a Michael Bay inspired movie without Michael Bay attached to it. That's just, when I think of Transformers movies, unfortunately, that's just what comes to mind, unless we're talking about the animated one that came out in the late 80s, which is, I still say, is the best. That is peak Transformers, that animated movie that came out back then. But it was a good movie, and I kind of like the direction that they're taking the franchise within the movieverse anyway. So, and that's going to do it for what I have been up to these past couple of weeks. So that's going to push us to our next topic on the docket. And we've got a main event coming at you this episode. So I'm passing the mic to Dez. What you got for us, man?
Alrighty. So this main event question comes from the Jabroni chief himself, and he asks, "What?
You want me to handle it?
I can do it. I can do it. Yeah. I mean, I'll kick it over to you first. That way you can kind of explain it, but I can read it. It's fine. With Microsoft's announcement of Xbox Cloud Gaming, do you foresee yourself buying and playing games strictly in the cloud? And if you want to give some background, feel free, Joe.
Yeah, Microsoft basically starting next month in November, basically are able to expand their Xbox Cloud Gaming on there. So there was a recent ruling with Google that they have to open up their storefront on there. So what they are planning on doing is basically having an app built into both Google and also iPhone devices that will be able to stream their Xbox Cloud Gaming servers. And they're expanding their service not just for Xbox Game Pass titles, but basically almost all of their catalog of games available on the Xbox itself. So basically, just like with the NVIDIA and the GeForce Now on here, if you own an Xbox game, basically in the Xbox catalog of titles, as far as, if you have a library of games or whatnot, you are going to be able to access Xbox Cloud Gaming to be able to stream all of your games, not just a limited selection, but all of your games on any device that you would want to use on there. So, and you're able actually in the app itself to buy games to be able to stream and or use on your Xbox as well. So I just kind of thought this was interesting, because this is almost like they were taking the console out of the equation in this case, and someone that just wants to purchase Xbox games can go ahead and play in whatever browser or device that you would want to. And I know especially with NVIDIA and the GeForce experience, that the quality for at least the GeForce experience is actually pretty good. It's like it's usually running off of a high-end NVIDIA PC with like graphics to GPU of a considerable amount. So I'm kind of curious as far as if anyone out there, what's your opinion? Would you consider like playing Xbox game or like say if PlayStation introduces something like this, like a PlayStation game or a Steam game in the cloud? I know GeForce Experience also allows you the ability to play a lot of your Steam library remotely in the cloud as well. So basically, I thought it's kind of an interesting question because, you know, the cloud as of itself, we've been talking about for years and years as a emerging technology, but it's kind of taken a backseat in recent years. But I could consider, like, you know, especially with me being on the go, like traveling to Tokyo, that would have been nice to pull out my tablet and maybe play a turn-based RPG on there, you know, maybe with a controller if need be. Got to have that controller business in there, you know. So I know we tend to like our physical games on this particular show. All three of us tend to gravitate towards that, but I think the convenience possibly might be something to keep in mind, and that's what I'm trying to keep an open mind for this. So, you know, as long as I could maybe fire up something like Grim Dawn in the cloud, it might be something I'll give it a shot, or something that's on Game Pass that maybe, you know, if I have free time. Granted, I mean, if I want to play a game, usually I'm going to be around my console. I'm going to be home anyway, but I have to think of a use case scenario possibly for this. But I'll kick it over to you first, Des. I mean, what's your overall thoughts about cloud gaming, and would this be something you'd be interested in trying at least?
Actually,
maybe on your commutes?
I want to hear from Kev first, because I think this is something. Well, the reason why I want to hear from Kev first is because I feel that Kev would. I think he has a very strong sentiment about this, because doesn't this kind of play into the whole, you know, I know it moves into the whole play anywhere kind of aspect of it, but this is just another facet of going digital only. So is this something that you would do, Kev?
No, it's not, with a big caveat, and this is my caveat. So I've got an Xbox Series X here that has been collecting dust since I don't know when. And I was debating on trading it in when I go and snag the Pro in November. But the trade-in value on that thing is just, it's plummeting like a stone. And it's like,
not wrong.
I would get more money out of it. I think I would get a bigger extract more value trading it in on something like a Switch 2 as opposed to a Pro, because I'm certain that the Switch 2, whatever, it may be more expensive than the Switch. I don't think it's going to be as expensive as, you know, the Pro model, the PS5 Pro. So I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do with this thing? Since there are no real Xbox games that I'm looking forward to, with the exception of South of Midnight, I think that's what it's called. Is it South of Midnight? Half Past Midnight, something like that. The one that takes place in the South, in Louisiana swamplands, where you're fighting talking alligators and giant zombie hoodoo dudes that play banjo. I am very interested in that title. Mm-hmm. And I'm also somewhat interested in Fable, however that, I'm curious to see how that pans out. But that's just 2 games. Are those 2 games worth hanging on to an otherwise dead console? At least for me, no, it's not. So something like this, I could see myself utilizing something that I connect to my TV, be it a Amazon Switch box or something that I can use to connect to maybe Nvidia's thing, although I don't like the idea of paying for another streaming service. But if it's just something I want to test out for a month, play the game, if it's something I like, then consider, sticking around for a while longer. Then I'm okay with it. I'm not out of a big investment. I'm not buying a whole new console. I'm not buying new controllers. I'm not doing all this stuff, which I don't mind doing if the console is actually meeting my needs. The problem is the Xbox has not been meeting my needs for a long time. So while I am in principle vehemently opposed to this cloud nonsense, I also want to know what that's going to do with those who have data caps. Streaming cranks up your data caps like crazy. So if Xfinity is sending you nasty grams because you binged the boys last season, what the hell are they going to be sending you when you start streaming games and you're playing for, you may be playing for multiple hours at a time, particularly if you're just borrowing or utilizing the service for a month or more, and then plan on letting it go once you've tried a game and decided it's not for you, or you've tried the game, like it, and you just want to finish it before your rental time is up. I wouldn't be looking forward to that. There has to be something needs to be done with regard to the internet infrastructure in this country before something like this can be fully utilized. Tech be damned. I'm not paying overages for data caps. I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah. And for me, it comes down to the fact of how it's going to look and what kind of system, like what are the system requirements for this? I know you can play it out of your browser, but how is that going to look? Is it going to be choppy? Is it going to be, how fast are you going to download it? Is it streaming? I think it's streaming. And then like where I guess your save is housed on the cloud. I don't know. I think it's really interesting trying to understand what Xbox is trying to do, and I get it. They're trying very hard to future-proof themselves, but at the same time, they have been building this infrastructure for so long and doing all these different things to kind of stay quote unquote relevant. But had they just made games, I think if they wouldn't really have this big of a problem. It's like, I don't know. It's like this is one I don't understand. Like, I mean, I keep saying I understand, but I understand why they're doing it. It just seems like the how they're continuing to do this just seems to just be asinine or like they're insane. And at some point, like where are the revenue streams? Like what's the revenue? Like I would love to go over their Xboxes, like, and I guess they're a publicly traded company, so I could go look, but they have to
you can
be
look
having,
at the quarter. You can look at the quarter reports.
like they have to be having some losses, because come on, like it's like year after year after year, and they're just like not putting out anything. And so to have them say, oh, we're going to do this as a way to get more people to play their games, and then you're thinking, well, what games are they playing? And I keep thinking, like, if you're basically getting ready to get rid of exclusivity and putting all these different things on like PlayStation or other systems or whatnot, it's like, I don't get it. Like, I just don't get Xbox's need to be everything to everyone. And I get there. All I can think is that they're trying to appease to this new generation. It's almost like they're trying to be Nostradamus and look into the future, and the future is like cloud gaming and no one owning anything, and everything is just rented or leased or something. Like no one owns anything anymore, and you can just play it wherever you want. And this sort of fallacy of like ownership and what's really yours and where you can be and where you can play it at and blah blah blah. Like I just don't get it. Like I keep saying that, but I do. It's just like it's so weird.
I think it would be better. I'm sorry for jumping
No,
in.
no. Jump in, please, please.
I think this would be easier to digest, easier to understand, and I understand. I know that you understand. It's not where you can say, okay, it makes sense in my mind. If Xbox would just get out of the console business, if they would just say, all right, look, we're done with the Series S, we're done with the Series X. We're going to still support it as far as repairs and whatnot, but don't expect any new hardware from us ever. If they would just make that announcement, pull the Band-Aid off, everything else that they've been doing would make sense, or at least make more sense, because at that point they're pulling out of the console market, regardless of whether. Now I know that big bank take little bank. All right, Microsoft is $1 trillion plus company. I don't know what the market cap is for Sony, but the majority of it is made up by PlayStation. If you take PlayStation out of the equation, then Sony doesn't look nearly as good as it does now. Whether or not Microsoft sees the PlayStation as a competitor, which they've said that they don't, PlayStation does see the Xbox as a competitor, because they can't afford to operate outside of that business program, right? Sony doesn't have a OS on the market. Sony doesn't have $1 trillion or $1 billion server farms all over the world. They don't have all that stuff. So if you have a box that sits in somebody's living room, family room, or attached to somebody's monitor, PlayStation is going to see you as a competitor. That's how they're going to operate. If Microsoft would just cut the crap and say, all right, we're out of this space. We are going to be a publisher. We are going to be a supplier of games. Then all this stuff with the cloud, with Game Pass, with not owning anything, with trying this and playing on your Amazon Fire Stick, all that stuff would make sense, because they have just cut their losses in the console space. But as long as they continue to manufacture a box, and as long as Sarah Bond keeps showing up and saying, well, we're getting ready to release the biggest leap in console technology the world has ever seen, and whatever the hell Uncle Phil decides to spew out of his mouth, as long as they keep saying that and producing a box, none of this stuff makes sense logically. It doesn't. It simply doesn't. With every move that they make, they devalue and devalue and devalue again the relevance of their console. I think for the past 3 or 4 quarters, Xbox has been down in hardware anywhere from 20 to 50%. 20 to 50%. It's like when you're talking about those kinds of losses, your investors should be saying it's a wrap. But they still keep dropping it. And I don't understand, until they end it, all this stuff just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but for me, I won't be getting it. No, I won't be doing this, for the sheer fact that they have no reason for me to do it. I don't need this option. If you believe that this is great for you, fantastic. Please utilize it to your heart's content. But for me, no. This is a pass for me.
platform that you actually have an investment in, like maybe PlayStation, where if you were going to take a game on the go that you weren't able to take on the go, but utilize cloud streaming to play like a turn-based game, would that be something you might think of? Just
possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly, but ultimately it comes down to the games that I want to play, and if I need to have that, like I have my Switch, and my Switch is fine to take it. I have a
Steam Deck.
Steam Deck, and I hardly ever use that thing, and I'm not going to take it out of the house because I consider it a console. So again, I just believe that this is just not for me. It's not for me right now. And that's fine. And that's fine, I guess.
One thing I did take a look while you guys were talking is that you do have to have a Game Pass subscription for you to be able to use the cloud service. So
this is attached to Game Pass.
Yeah, it is attached to Game Pass. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there you go. Oh well.
Yeah. But, it's the fact that they've been promising this cloud service back in 2020, but they finally have got to fruition now. So, but we'll have to see what happens with this. I mean, maybe I'll give it a go, but I have, just like Kev, I haven't really had a reason to turn on my Xbox that much. I mean, I already have other platforms and consoles I play. And so it's just going to take a lot from me. I'm just curious about the technology. I've used Stadia for a little bit when Google had it around. Felt like it wasn't bad on there. I felt like the image quality could have been better. I mean, if they kind of solved the image quality for cloud, maybe it's something, especially if I want to play at work or something, that I don't want to lug a console with me. Maybe it's good for a short burst of gaming or whatnot. One thing to consider, too, is that Microsoft is pulling out of hardware. I don't know if there's rumor right now that they're pulling out of the Saudi Arabia market, but the refreshed Xbox Series consoles that are coming out next month are not going to be available in Argentina, Brazil, Chile, India, Israel, Singapore, South America, South Korea, Turkey, or UAE as well. So they are not launching any of the revised consoles in those territories. So
this is why.
Pretty much.
If you want to be a part of the Xbox infrastructure, you're gonna have to get Game Pass and have a stable internet connection. That's it. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. So I think they're just dipping out. If you go to Walmart and take a look at the Xbox section, it's not exactly brimming with titles and whatnot. So
it's a ghost town.
Yeah, pretty much. I know at the Walmart down the street from my house, they have like their clearance games in the Xbox case actually for other platforms. So. And the Yodobashi camera that me and Des were at, they had plenty of games for other platforms, but basically they had fake game boxes for each game that you could have on Game Pass. So they had individually titled for Halo Master Chief Collection, Halo 5. They had kind of fake jewel cases for each game you could have with Game Pass at the Yodobashi camera. So, well, let us know what you guys think about cloud gaming.
Yes, please.
This is a main event question. So, I mean, let us know, especially if you're more divested or invested, I should say, in the Xbox side of the fence. Are you excited to play your, library in the cloud? I mean, I know Ace Black, has a lot of games on Xbox, and I don't know what he thinks about cloud gaming. And I know that, Will D also games a little bit on the Xbox side of the fence, especially as it has a monster PC. I don't know if he's wanting to exactly stream anything. I don't know what appeal that would have, but, let us know what you guys think,
Thank you so much for the main event, Joe. Like he said, please feel free to let us know either on our Discord or shoot us a message. We do have this on YouTube, so if you want to comment on the YouTube, please feel free. We will read your YouTube comments as well. But what follows me is the Jabroni Gaming News.
All right, thank you, Des. Okay.
You're welcome, JoJo.
Even though it's old news, let's kind of cover at least a little bit the Sony PlayStation State of Play that happened a few weeks ago on here. Obviously, we haven't really covered it because, me and Des were in Japan, and we focused on that for the last episode. But there's quite a few of announcements that were done on this. Kev, what was your overall opinion as far as what games that you liked? We could talk about like kind of games that kind of spoke to us on this State of Play. So,
I liked it. I mean, I'm going in, and really, you can set your expectations by how PlayStation describes an upcoming either State of Play or showcase by what they say. So I really wasn't expecting. I was expecting 99.9% third party, either updates or new announcements, which is more or less what we got. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at a bunch of games, and there's a whole bunch of them that I want to play. So would I consider this a good show? Yes, it is. It is a good show. The elephant in the room is when they're going to start. When is their showcase going to drop? And that's anybody's guess. I mean, folks are saying that it'll be in December because that's the official. I forget what the exact date in December is, which will mark the official 30th anniversary of when the original PlayStation launched. It would make sense to do a first party blowout in December, but it's all rumor and speculation. So until they actually say something, we're not going to know. Me, myself, I'm not hung up on, oh, what are they going to do? What they going to do? What they going to do? Because I've been eating really good on this console for the past, pretty more or less since it's been launched. I'm not going to lie. I've had a smorgasbord of first, second, and third party games that I cared about. So it's not that big of a deal to me. But for the state of play in and of itself, I thought it was a good show. Earth shattering, no, but I thought it was a good show.
For me, at least, as far as what I saw, looking at the titles that were announced, Lunar Remastered Collection kind of stuck out to me a little bit. Being an RPG fan, I played both of those games to their completion. Also to take a look at Fantasia Neo Dimension from Square Enix. I've been kind of keeping an eye on that game from Mistwalker for a while on there. And of course, Ghost of Yotei, great announcement to me. I mean, I love the art style and everything. I need to go back and actually play Ghost of Tsushima to kind of rectify my sins before the sequel comes out.
Mm-hmm.
On there. Dynasty Warriors Origins, glad to get a release date for that for me, at least. And I love playing that at the show, too. So, and of course, Monster Hunter Wilds release date announcement was something that kind of just spoke to me, at least there. So, I mean, pretty much overall, I mean, I experienced this State of Play via Wario 64 updates while I was flying to Tokyo. So it's like kind of funny to experience this after the fact. I did go ahead, and I have not actually gone in and watched it from beginning to end since then. I've just been kind of picking and choosing the trailers I want to kind of take a look at. So maybe I'll owe it to myself to kind of sit down and watch it from beginning to end just to see if there's anything above and beyond what kind of spoke to me. The Horizon Zero Dawn remaster was okay for me, at least, because it's in my backlog. I can understand if I already previously played it to its completion, whether I'd be super excited for it or not. But to me, it's like for someone coming into the game new, I think paying an extra $10 to get the Super the Greatest Remastered Edition is a sweet thing. I kind of feel bad. I know that the people that bought the game or haven't bought the game on PC, I mean, you're basically those people that don't have a PSN account and countries that don't support it obviously won't be able to. They'd have to fake a PSN account if need be. But some countries, they don't offer the purchase of it on Steam. So, And I know that they took the original game off the store, and that basically it's available right now. I think the remastered edition for $40. So it's kind of hard to kind of consider as far as, especially, I mean, that's why if at all possible, go physical. It's like I saw copies of Horizon Zero Dawn on Japanese shelves for like $6. So I mean, if you really wanted to, you could go to GameStop, pick up a cheap copy of Horizon Zero Dawn, and be able to upgrade for $10 if you have a physical, means of playing games on there. I know for you digital owners, you pretty much just screw glued and tattooed. So, Des, what's your overall anything above and beyond what I kind of talked about?
No, you pretty much said it all. I thought it was pretty good. I mean, I'm not gonna get the Horizon Zero Dawn stuff, but overall, I think it was a pretty good one. Like a lot of these things is just stuff that I'm most likely gonna get. And if I don't get, I'll usually try it at your house, but I do need to go back and finish. Oh my God, Omi, the Trek, not Trek. Oh, you just said it, and I can't remember before the new one comes out.
Are you talking about Greece?
Ghost. Sorry.
Ghost.
Yes, I got it. I got more than halfway through it, and I just kind of like fell off because life got out of the way and stuff like that. So I do want to play Ghost of Yotei, but I want to go through and finish off my play. Although I guess you don't really need to because it's like 100 years after, but
it's
but
like
I think,
300 years after.
Oh, 300. That's only 100. Okay, well there you go.
Yeah.
So even then, I probably should go through and get it. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver 1 and 2. Definitely want to try that, and then hopefully my game of the year will be Dragon Age of the Veilguard. I really am looking forward to playing that and getting that in my bones.
Is that a day one get for you?
Yes, it's a day one get for me. Unfortunately, I tried very hard. I've tried multiple times to restart Dragon Age Inquisition, and for whatever reason, I don't know what it is, I just can't do it. So I don't know what it is. I want to, but I just cannot bring myself to play that game. I don't know. But
are you guys excited for Veilguard?
Yeah, me. I think I'm definitely gonna get it. Dragon Age Veilguard. That's the game. Like I want to get that. Like I want to play it. I want to see what's happening. I hope it's a lot more streamlined. I hope it's a mix between 2 and 3, because people hated 2 because of how linear it was, and they used some of the assets were the same and blah blah blah. But I liked it because it was a much tighter story. And in Inquisition, they went the entirely opposite way and made it open world and all this other stuff. So while it was fun and it was cool, it felt like you were doing a lot more like hand holding tasks kind of thing. Like it was very task heavy. And that felt that ate up a lot of time. So yeah, I think if they're able to marry the two of them, I think it'll be really good. So, but yeah.
The only one I played was Origins, the first one, and I didn't play 2. And I didn't play any of the other ones after that. But Veilguard, because of its action, looks more action oriented than that. Kind of piqued my interest. So I'm kind of curious. I'll probably be checking it out. And Ghost to Yotei, you don't really need to have played the first one, because it's a new protagonist that takes place hundreds of years after the events of Jinsekai, but you probably shouldn't play it because it's woke. You can't have a woman wielding a samurai sword. I think the only thing that would have made it worse if they'd have had Yusuke show up in some form or fashion. I think the hate, the ridiculous amount of hate that this game has been getting for no reason other than the fact that the protagonist has a vagina is just insane to me. And again, there are some points, sometimes I side with the Chuds and sometimes I side with the Rainbow Hair Brigade. In this case, I'm siding with the Rainbow Hair Brigade because the hate that this game is getting does not make any sense. You know, the woman who's voicing the main character, who has a body of work uh, comparable to some of the more legendary folks who have done voiceovers, both in media and in gaming. Okay, she's a lefty. You know, if I were to sit down and talk to her about politics, we probably wouldn't agree on anything. But as long as she can do the job, make the character interesting, believable, uh, that's her only job as the voice of the character. It's the other people involved in the game to forge a good story that's going to be able to utilize her vocal talents and bring that character to life. So, and just because, and it's another thing, you know, people, oh my gosh, they're casting Jin Sakai aside. It's like, you do know that because it's 200 plus years after the events of Jin. And by the way, if you played the original and you played Iki Island, Jin's story more or less wraps up. Now, does it end at a cliffhanger? Yes, it does in Iki Island. But his story more or less was wrapped up. Just they can still go back and tell a Jin story because they're jumping centuries. You can go back. You can go back and visit and create this, because I think what they're trying to do is make this, you know, PlayStation's version of Assassin's Creed. That's what I think they're trying to do. Jumping so far ahead in the future with a new protagonist who is in no way, shape, or form connected with the original character. I think it's smart for building a franchise when the ghost is not Jin, who is the character. It is the mantle of the ghost, you know, and what that means in a different time period, fighting a different enemy, and a different, while still Japan, a different culture, because you can't tell me the culture hasn't changed in 300 years. So all that, I think, paints. Well, we know it's changed because, you know, Homegirl's got a musket.
Yeah.
You know, um, so seeing how all that interacts and works, I'm really looking forward to it, and I think uh, the boo-hooing is just ridiculous in this case.
Just gotta stay off the internet. That's it. So.
Well, I mean, it's not even that. It's like, again, this stuff comes to me. I don't go looking for it. I have canceled and stopped and said, I don't want to look at this, and but I watch a lot of YouTube. And again, this all goes back to oh gosh, what was that game by Square Enix with the black gal who gets isekai'd? Forspoken. It goes back to Forspoken. I watched the Forspoken video, and I get all the Chutosphere stuff, and I watch it just kind of just to stay, you know, connected, to see what people are saying. And there are points when I agree with the Chutosphere is saying, and I think they have valid points. I'm not going to sit here and say that they don't, but in this case, nah, it's just silly.
Yeah.
Just like my purchase of Deathborn was, you know, shouldn't be questioned, you know. So.
Oh, I'm a question that.
Yeah,
I'm a question
that,
because you know what, I will do something because you are a friend, sir. Because you are a friend. When you decide to play that game, I will play that game along with you.
Aww.
And we are going to have, whenever we finish it, whenever we complete it, we are going to have a Dustborn discussion on an upcoming episode of the Gaming Vessels, because I think, even though I personally think the game is trash just from what I've seen, you really can't say unless you've actually played it yourself. But everything I have seen about that game says this ain't for me. But I will take one for the team along with the team. So you let me know when you start playing that game. I will pick up a copy or I will download it from the PlayStation Store. I have a feeling it'll probably be on Plus sooner than later. Um, and let me know, and I will play that game along with you because I am curious to know how you see it. Uh, I think it could be an interesting discussion. I'll
Well,
just leave.
right now, my only knowledge of the game is what you've told me. I have not seen a YouTube video. I have not seen any sort of internet discourse. I think when I was at Yodobashi Camera, I just checked Open Critic and looked at the review score. That's all I've done before I
Mhm,
decided to buy the game.
mhm,
So I
mhm.
have no absorption of any sort of discourse about anything of the game and the plot
Yeah.
or anything like that. So.
Yeah,
Huh.
you're in for a treat, sir. Like I said before, you're in for a treat. But I will play it along with you. I will pick it up. You just let me know when you're gonna play it and or when you plan on starting to play it, and I'll pick it up and we can walk that path together, my friend.
All right.
Aw.
There is a US physical, so if you want to buy the physical and then trade it in after you're done,
Yeah.
it might be the best way.
Yeah.
So,
Aw.
but
Yeah, I ain't playing it.
who knows how much the trade-in value is for it. In fact, I'll look right now, see
They'll
what
probably
GameStop.
it's probably negative. They're gonna charge me money to trade that game
Probably.
in.
You're like, why are you bringing this in here? You know we don't like this.
Right now, Dustborn is $16.50. So
Oh, well,
trade it
there you
in.
go.
It looks like you get the same edition I did, which had a nice um, cardboard case with some other doodads, including a map and all sorts of good stuff. So,
Okay. You let
all
me know
right,
when you go we plan to start playing it and we'll run through it together.
all right, you got it. All right, next thing on the news, something new actually. So, Nintendo revealed a new piece of hardware. So, they are releasing a interactive sound clock called Alarmo. So, right
Stop it.
now,
Oh
it's
Lord.
only available
Oh
through
Lord.
Nintendo Switch Online members on there. It's going to come to retail in early 2025. It's a alarm clock
I'm
placed
sorry.
at $100 retail value. So it is coming out. It's suggested price of $99.99. And so what it does, it's basically in addition to playing sounds inspired by Nintendo games to wake up the user, the clock reacts to body movement by playing other sounds from the company's games. Users can snooze the alarm with gestures and end it by simply getting out of bed or pressing a button if they prefer. They also, Alarmo will keep a record of the user's movements while they're asleep on there. So, uh, according to this, and this is what Nintendo's saying, Alarmo responds to your body's movement with game sounds, so you can feel like you're waking up in the game world itself.
And this is why we can't have 1080p and OLED screen and OLED and this is why we can't have like super the greatest Pentium processing. We got
Set an
alarm mode.
alarm inspired by 5 Nintendo games with
Oh.
more alarms on the way as free updates as they become available. So users can choose up to 35 scenes inspired by Super Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Splatoon
Ooh.
3, Pikmin 4, and Ring Fit Adventure.
Ah.
So in the morning, you'll experience immersive sounds and music from the scene you picked. Rise the sounds
Ooh.
of the Mushroom Kingdom with Mario and friends. Begin your day's adventure with Link and Princess Zelda, or start fresh with the Inklings from Splatoon 3. So,
Christian's gonna love that.
yeah. So basically, they talked about this, and this is from the same group within Nintendo that designed the Labo. Remember that the cardboard?
Oh, yay. So
Yeah.
it means it's going to be number one if it's
At least it's
happening.
not cardboard.
Cardboard alarm clock. Get out of here. Get out
You
of
know
here.
what? You know what? If this thing had Mario and Peach and Luigi singing a rendition of "Wake Me Up Before You Go Go," I would probably buy it.
I don't know if you guys watched the video for this, but they basically simulate like if you get up, it's making coin sounds as you're getting out of bed, like ming, 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 ming.
No.
Yeah.
Wake me up before you go.
No.
Don't leave me hanging on like a yo-yo.
You could check
Yeah.
from time to time with the alarm clocks to check
Can't do
how
it.
long you slept or if there's any updates. So
This is ridiculous.
According to
Very
Nintendo,
ridiculous.
this is from the designer. It says, I want Alarmo to be a presence that gently supports you and accompanies you in your daily life without
So we
you
want to be
having
Apple
to take care
now.
of it. Yeah. So which one of you are going to go out and get this new alarm clock?
No.
No?
Hell no.
No. No.
No. You know what I would like? You know what would be great?
No.
Nintendo to start releasing CPAPs. Imagine if they integrated Alarmo with the CPAP. All the nerds, all the fat nerds that use the CPAP. Man, oh man, if I could use my CPAP with like Nintendo graphics and like,
No.
I could get better my life. So,
No.
so let us know out there. Let us know in Discord if you're going to buy Alarmo. This is only available for Nintendo Online users. So, if you happen to have a membership.
I will not be buying an Alarmo.
I think is this better or worse than the Xbox fridge? What's the opinion?
This is worse. Because at least you can actually like eat and like have like refreshing snacks and stuff. This one actually like makes you get out of bed when you're trying to sleep. That's horrible.
Nintendo should have like combined the Alarmo with an actual refrigerator. I think that would have been like just the bomb. So
it's horrible. It's horrible.
Oh
man.
Right,
well, in other gaming news, Halo developer 343 Industries came out recently at a Halo World Championship tournament and stated, "Hey, guess what? We as 343 Industries no longer exist. They have rebranded themselves as Halo Studios, and they are now working
Excuse me. Way to double down, y'all.
You got it. Yeah. They basically came in and they have said they have ditched all of their internal systems that they developed all the previous Halo games on. Their own 343 Slip Space engine has been kicked to the curb. The same engine used to develop Halo Infinite. They are going to Unreal Engine 5 on there.
No, say it ain't so, Craig. No.
Yep.
No!
They basically said that some elements of Slip Space is almost 25 years old. So that basically they're going to Unreal, that they're able to use it. One of the biggest questions move to Unreal Engine 5 is how are these games going to play on the Xbox Series S? So we'll have to know if games do indeed come out, but it's a point that they did have some gameplay demo available at the show as far as target footage. Of course, a lot of it had a kind of similar concepts to like Halo 1, so I'm not sure if they're aiming for a reboot on this, but they are quote-unquote developing multiple future Halo projects. So we'll have to see what comes out about all this. But, Unreal Engine 5 makes it much easier to go multi-platform. You can tell you that right now. So what's your we kind of don't want to kick a horse while it's down, but what's your overall opinion? You think Halo's going to go multi-platform at some point?
Yes.
Yeah. Whole slate.
They need the
I don't
money.
know if this Halo Studios. Hopefully they are up to snuff. Hopefully Microsoft gives them enough leeway and not try to rush them.
They ain't gonna give them nothing. Come on now.
Yeah, but we'll have to see because obviously with the TV show canceled with Halo, this might be a low point. It's been a low point since Bungie left, basically, but this might be the lowest of the low. Who knows? They were actually working, according to the article I read, on Halo Infinite 2 before they canceled all that business. So
Mm-hmm.
Well, this thing has already been forecast to die in the vine because one of the I think she's in charge of either story. She does something. She's a black woman with multicolored hair. So immediately everybody's saying, okay, Halo's going woke and this is trash. So I mean, the reason I'm saying it because it's literally when this announcement happened, when I opened up my YouTube account, it was like every you know how YouTube displays the screens, all the clickable screens
Yeah.
of different Halo gone woke. 343 can't hide the DEI. Uh, it, it's bad. I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm the biggest Halo fan. I bought an Xbox for Ninja Gaiden. Did not buy it for Halo. But 343 has squandered just from what I have heard, what people have said. People that I know or who I have followed on social media who are big Halo heads have said that 343 has squandered the franchise. And I don't think Halo Infinite did that series any favors whatsoever. I haven't played the game, don't plan on playing the game. But again, those who are big into the series, who have played it, said, yeah, it's not that good. So going to Unreal just means that they need an engine that can be easily ported to the PlayStation. That's what that means. They ain't worried about the Series S. They're
No.
worried about where they actually sell games, and outside of the PC, that's going to be PlayStation.
Oh, maybe they could use the cloud gaming to be able to play on the Series S. You never know. So.
I doubt it.
All right, and we're
Ain't
going to
worried
go
about
into
all
our
that.
announcements and release dates portion of the news. So we're going to talk about just briefly about some announcements and whatnot. There is an update to Sea of Stars coming out, a new content update. So the update known as Dawn of Equinox will feature a number of the community's more requested features. That includes local co-op. So if I come to your house, Des, I could actually play co-op with you on Sea of Stars on
Awesome.
there. It could enable up to 3 players to sit down together and be able to play the game in its entirety on there. Also, Dawn of Equinox brings a revamped prologue, a bonus cinematic scene, difficulty presets, so you could change, bump it up if need be if it's too easy for you. Number of quality of life improvements and more on there. So this is not the expansion that was updated at a recent Nintendo Direct on there. That is coming out next year. That is the Throes of the Watchmaster
Yeah.
on there. That's a DLC that's coming out in the spring of next year on there. So, but this kind of helps, especially if you've been hesitant to dive into Sea of Stars. This will just put that dollop of cream and cherry on top, need be, on that. So
It's worth it. It's a great game.
And also, too, since our last news segment a couple of episodes ago, Ubisoft has pushed back the release date of Assassin's Creed Shadows. So it was like so sudden that I guess they had a TGS showcase like scheduled for the game, and they pulled it at the last minute on here. So basically, they stated that the game will be releasing in February instead, and that on February 14th, happy Valentine's Day for all, they're actually going to release the game on Steam day and date. They're also, because of the delay, they're going to take the first portion of the season pass, the first story expansion that was going to be available on the season pass, and make it available for everyone when they buy the game. So it's a lot of stuff with Ubi going on right now. There's rumors also too that they are possibly looking at maybe taking the company private. They're talking to some of their investors at Tencent to see if they could align maybe with them buying more stocks so they could take the company private. There was even some mention too about all the anti-woke um, segments as far as Assassin's Creed Shadows and the kind of dealing with the negative internet response on there. I think in my opinion, I think they're paying too much attention to that, as far
Yeah.
as the Yasuke stuff. So they should kind of toe the line and stay strong, but they haven't really done so. But
Well,
hopefully this will make it so that the game is polished once they do release it, because I think Ubisoft has a lot riding on this game if it's a financial success or not. But why to jump out of November and jump into the same month that Monster Hunter Wilds and other games are coming out? I have no clue why they decided to do that, but
well, it's Black History Month, so you gotta kind of works out. So
You're not wrong.
Valentine's, Black History Month, Negro Samurai, it all kind of goes together. I mean, I said this about Final Fantasy 16,
Like Kinty Claw.
and I'll say it about Assassin's Creed, because what I've been hearing, and in this case, I do love a good conspiracy, but I am inclined to believe it. There's a lot of things going on with Assassin's Creed, leaving Yusuke out of the equation. They're using Chinese architecture in a Japanese Japanese Edo period, I think is taking place game. There is a lot of, oh, this looks Asian, let's put it in it type of stuff that has been going on with regards to the background setting. Certain plants that should be in bloom are not. Certain plants that shouldn't be in bloom are, given the season, the time of the year, the times of years that this game takes place in. There is a lot going on that says, it looks Asian enough. Let's go on ahead and do it. On top of all that, they went on, and I don't know what they call those gates that
The Torii gates.
The Torii gates. They have I guess it's in their statuette, where it is the female ninja is perched on a half broken one of those gates that you just mentioned.
Torii gates, yeah.
Torii gates, and that gate is from the atomic bomb that dropped in either Nagasaki or Hiroshima. I can't remember which one, but someone did a side by side, and it's the exact same thing. That's not good. Somebody did not do their due diligence in that. So they have a lot of stuff to work on with regards to Assassin's Creed. I'm also inclined to believe the other theory that they are trying to denigrify Yosuke's role in this game and find a way to minimize him, because I think they are letting the chuds get to them. And again, I said this about Final Fantasy 16 when people were complaining, well, how come there's no black people? How come there's no Mexican people? How come you can't let these people, you can't give them, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. That goes for the left as well as the right. Just as Square Enix ignored the nonsense that was coming from the multicolored heads, Ubisoft needs to ignore the chudosphere with this. If this is the game that they want to bring to market, correct the stuff that is culturally inaccurate for sure, and bring this game to market. The way, maintain the integrity of your vision, good or bad. Let the market decide what comes of this, because when you start delaying and not telling folks what's going on and pulling out of Tokyo Game Show last minute, all it's doing is fueling those who want to see your demise.
Yeah.
You can't give these people any air. And like I said, that goes from on both sides. You cannot give these people any air. Release the game the way that you envisioned it.
Yeah, one thing of the report stated that they are quote unquote also changing some of Yusuke's story and how he's portrayed in
Yeah,
the update that they're doing right now.
they're trying to. I think they're trying to yank him out the game. I'm honestly, and I believe this. I think Ubisoft is so scared that this game flops that this will send their, because if it does flop, it's going to send their company into a tailspin. I think they are giving these folks air, and they are going to find a way to pull Yusuke out of the game as a playable character. That's just what I think. Some of the folks have talked about this and have on the right side of the political spectrum that discuss gaming, and I'm in agreement with them. I think they are trying to figure out a way to get him out of the game. He will probably be somebody that I would assume you would get missions from, but they're trying to figure out a way to pull him out of this game altogether, and they're just probably going to throw some random dude, some samurai Japanese dude in there and push it out and just push it out. That's literally what I think. I think that's the initial plan for it. If they can't go and take him out of the game fully, they are going to minimize his use as a playable character significantly in this game.
I think that's probably what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I hope they don't.
One or the other.
Another rumor too is that they are working on a co-op mode for the game as well. So I don't know if it's going to be available at launch, but they are going to at some point enable the ability to be able to play together using Yasuke and the other ninja female protagonist, Naoe. Yeah. So that it'd be kind of cool to play Assassin's Creed multiplayer. I think that would be kind of lend itself to a playthrough. I think so I think they haven't tried to do multiplayer with Assassin's Creed since Assassin's Creed Unity. So on there, so I'll be kind of curious to see if they do bust out a multiplayer mode. Would you like to play this co-op, Des? If you do pick it up,
I play with you.
Yeah, might be cool. It might lend to a pretty cool experience if need be. So, so we'll have to see once the game does come out. I have a pre-order for it still. I'm still keeping my pre-order. We'll see what happens. So, all right. And then a new game that's coming out for Xbox Game Pass next week. I didn't know that this game was actually coming out, but there's basically an update, a new game in the MechWarrior 5 series. So MechWarrior 5 Clans is coming out to Xbox Game Pass on day one. It's also available on PlayStation 5 and PC. On here, this is a sequel to MechWarrior 5 Mercenaries on here, and basically this is the first game that they created that has a immersive story. There's an actual storyline in this game on here, so that there is basically a campaign of a certain point, and this is going to be something that will be actually open for newcomers to the series on there, so that you're also going to have customizable mechs on here and all sorts of things. So I'm just kind of always wanted to play MechWarriors 5 previous on there, the Mercenaries that came out. So I'm kind of curious about this game. I don't know if this will inspire you to wipe the dust off your Xbox Series X, Kev, at all, but
maybe I'd have to. I would have to look at gameplay. In all honesty, I just wish this was Mech Assault, because that's a more action, stripped down, and it was just so much fun to play. Mech Assault is just one of those gems from the original Xbox, and yeah, I know it comes from MechWarrior, and Mech Assault is a derivative, but I'd rather be playing the next Mech Assault game. But I'll look up some gameplay and and see if it's something that I would be interested in. If so, I'll rent a month of Game Pass.
It is also
Yeah.
available on PlayStation 2, so just in case you do decide, just grab it. It's going to be available for PS5, also on Steam for $49.99. So,
Oh, not a full price game. That might be that could be a Black Friday acquisition.
possibly. All right, and then also too, Sega announced that with Creative Assembly's cooperation, of course, that they are finally working on a sequel to Alien Isolation to celebrate its 10th anniversary. So a lot of people liked Alien Isolation quite a bit, but for whatever reason, Sega just didn't decide to do a sequel to the game. They are now working on a sequel with Creative Assembly. So it's good that the people kind of got what they want. And Sega's continually, just kind of been pretty responsive to their fans out there and whatnot. So I know I'm not a horror fan. I did not play Alien Isolation, but Kev, any sort of did you dabble in this game at all or played it previously?
No, because it's stealth based.
Got it.
And me and stealth don't match.
I'm still kind of curious about the sequel to Aliens Fireteam Elite, so hopefully that gets announced soon.
Yeah.
It's just a rumor on here. And then last but not least, there is a new AAA licensed game on its way. So Avatar: The Last Airbender is getting a AAA fully priced game coming out from being published by Paramount Game Studios, being developed by Saber Interactive. So the developers of the recent Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 are going to be working on a Avatar game on here. So players will take on a role of an all-new, never-before-seen Avatar, and they're creating a open-world title across PC and consoles on here. So and they're working on that. I think that has kind of a good chance. I'm kind of excited for it, even though it's just an announcement, if need be. Des, any sort of, if this comes off as something of a big experience, is something you're excited for?
Yeah. I am familiar with the franchise, and I think that this is something that the people would really be interested in. I know I would be. So yeah, I think this is really cool, actually. I never thought, because I've always thought that this Avatar would really be kind of cool if they were to do it sort of like Jade Empire, and have it be like different, fighting styles, and have it be like an action RPG type of thing, where you can tap into the four different elements and you can mix them together and actually have like a much more kung fu based type of gameplay. I think that'd be really kind of cool, actually. And you can favor different water type or fire type and put it together and do certain things. And you can use all three of them, on the world, all four of them on the world map. You can use your air powers to jump over obstacles, or the fire to set fire to things to get through stuff. Just stuff like that. Lending that just lends itself to so much really cool stuff that I'm not surprised that it hasn't been done sooner, to tell you the God's honest truth. So yeah, I think it'd be fun, super fun.
Yeah, I'm kind of excited for it too. I've watched all of the original Last Airbender TV show. Haven't really followed up with Legend of Korra at all. Even though I probably should go back and check that out. I think it might be on Paramount Plus possibly. So
Korra's not bad. Korra's not bad. I watched all the way up to the last episode of the last season, and it's not bad. It's nowhere near as good as the original, but it's not bad.
Probably way better than the M. Night Shyamalan movie.
Oh, that's not hard though. So.
That's a low bar.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, I have not seen the movie.
That's not hard at all.
All right. Well, on that note, that is the end of Jabroni Gaming News for this episode.
All right. Thank you so much. Game night takes place every Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And I know we haven't been uh, really consistent with our game nights because, we've got other events to attend and life gets in the way. A lot has been getting in the way a lot of the times. But we are going to try and hold ourselves to that Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific as the day and time that we will set aside to play games with our growing Discord community. So if you've got a game that you're interested in playing with us or any members of the community whatsoever, just post that game in the name of that game in our Discord server, and we'll be more than happy to join you. Now, you might be asking, how do we join the Discord? Well, that's easy enough. You just head on over to the app formerly known as Twitter, currently known as X.
X.
Crazy X.
And you head over to @GamingVessels, GamingVessels. You click the link in the bio and you're in. So we're not going to ask you to buy any merch. We're not going to ask you to subscribe to a Patreon tier list. We just ask that you be a good person, likes talking about games. And we think you'll find a good, happy home aboard the good ship Gaming Vessel. So I highly encourage you to join up and meet us there. So that is going to bring episode 261 to a close. I want to thank y'all for hanging out, cooling out, chilling out, without a doubt, with us this episode. So for Dez, a.k.a. the Bay Area Terror, a.k.a. the High Res Hater.
That's me.
A.k.a. the Cat Daddy, a.k.a. that gamer stepdaddy, and for Trader Joe, a.k.a. Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of Gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. I am Shonuff71, a.k.a. Digadulamite.
Purple bling bling, y'all.
And we'll be back next time, episode 262 for your ears. Peace.